I viewed a Jaclyn Glenn clip recently, and it concerns a Christian YouTube user called Wayne Philmore. Now, Jaclyn seemed to do a number on this guy, using various editing segments. And I also came across another atheist YouTuber who did a similar type of number on Wayne. And it just confirmed to me that bastards help bastards. So, in this clip, it's payback time. Now, I don't know Wayne Philmore. I never met him, never contacted him. I have subscribed to his YouTube channel, and that's about it. But if the atheists hate him, well, then he must be a good guy. So, it's payback time today. I'm going to help a brother out. So sit back and enjoy. So using some pretty rough editing on my part, I'm going to deal with what Jaclyn Glenn had to say about Wayne. So, first of all, let's introduce the contestants. So, in this corner, we have a Christian YouTube presenter. His name is Wayne Philmore, and his opponent is an atheist YouTube presenter called Jaclyn Glenn. And I am a third party in all this, so I get to have my say after we deal with what has been said, clip by clip. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let us commence.
Atheism is a mental disorder that takes nearly 4.8 million people around the globe.
4.8 million people? Did you just shove your arm up your ass and pull out that number? Because I can't figure out where in the hell it came from. A 2005 survey from the British Encyclopedia said that non-religious people make up 11.9% of the world's population and atheists 2.3%. But apparently 4.3 is the number. I don't know. He probably has some amazing source that I don't. Not to mention the problems with calling atheism a mental disorder. I mean, I don't even call religion a mental disorder.
Now, Wayne said 4.8 million people are atheists on a global basis. Now, as to the 4.8 million, maybe he should have clarified where he got those numbers from. But if you look at atheist organisations on, say, internet, you've got all these meet-up groups and other social media where people can declare themselves to be atheists, and those running those websites can also load it up with socks, dummy members, just to boost numbers. Also, you have to take into consideration, in a country like North Korea, if you believe in God, you ain't gonna live long. So, until there's a completely independent survey or authority that can carry out such a survey, Wayne's 4.8 million is just as valid as Jaclyn's 2.3% of the world's population are supposedly atheists. And she's using a survey that was 10 years old and taken by the British Encyclopedia. Now, I don't know how much influence they have in the non-English speaking world. And one thing I want to point out, 11.9% are non-religious. That means they do not subscribe to any particular church or any mosque, synagogue, temple, whatever. That's all it really means. Or they just have an independent view of God. That doesn't mean that they don't believe in God, they just prefer not to be in any particular religion. Also, looking at countries like North Korea, you cannot say anything like believing in God. So, again, it's not really set in stone, the figures that have been mentioned. Now, Jaclyn said, she didn't consider religion to be a mental disorder, yet she is an anti-theist who hates all religion, and indeed hates the people who follow those religions. No, that just speaks for itself. She's telling crap just to come across as a nice person.
It convinces the victims that there is no such thing as truth. There is no God. We all came from a big explosion. We evolved from a puddle of soup to fish to apes to men, and they have absolutely no evidence to claim this.
A puddle of soup to fish to apes to men. Yeah, that's not exactly what people think. Evolution is something that has been proven. It's a very gradual change over a large amount of time. It's hard for most people, and obviously this guy, to comprehend. It's actually, in fact, something that we haven't pulled out of our ass. It's being heavily researched and studied every single day. But no, that sounds ridiculous to you, but what doesn't sound ridiculous is God. The Garden of Eden, talking snakes, talking donkeys, making women from ribs, all that shit, that's perfectly normal.
Evolution has never been proven. It has never been observed. All that's happened is that it has been constantly redefined by academics. Because if you make the definitions, you can define the results. Unless a species has had a change in the number of chromosomes that it has, then it is not evolution. Race mixing is not evolution. It is just a variance of the same species. The only people who push the race mixing is evolution are white, liberal atheists. And as for the talking snakes, talking donkeys, so on, well, the talking snake, it was an insult. It was not an actual description of what that creature was. The talking snake that approached Eve, it could have been Satan, it could have been Lilith, Adam's first wife. If I call you a cockroach, am I actually giving you a statement of fact, or am I just insulting you? And as for the creation of Eve from the rib of Adam, it's simple. It was human cloning, and it is possible to clone. Dolly the sheep was the first clone. Animal cloning, and there is possibly human cloning, but we don't know for certain. So the Bible was way ahead of your prophet Karl Marx.
When two atheists disagree, well, who do they go to? Who do they turn to?
Well, when two atheists disagree, they use their brain. That's this great thing that we have that sometimes we can use if we want, because we think about things and we kind of figure out what's right and wrong based off of the society that we live in and the logical processes that go on in our brain telling us that stealing is wrong, rape is wrong, murder is wrong, and those are things that we don't really need a holy book to tell us not to do.
When two atheists disagree, they come to the single conclusion that Christians are responsible for whatever problems that the atheists have, or any disagreements. It's as simple as that. You just use Marxist dialectic to make it that way. Make the definitions and define the results.
Just It's a lack of belief in truth. It's a lack of belief in right or wrong.
It's a lack of belief in truth. It's the lack of a belief in right and wrong.
Atheists
not.
love moral relativism. What's true for you is true for you, and what's true for me is true for me. They do not have any independent guidance for things such as morals or right or wrong. It's as simple as that. Make it up as you go along. After all, you've got no one to answer to. Until they get themselves into positions of power, they will just avoid the question. And when I do get themselves into positions of power, well, it'll just be, in modern terms, North Korea. Simple.
Atheists to pretend like they have morals. Well, you don't. You're an atheist. For anybody to say God is immoral.
One more person telling us that we don't have morals. What a shocker. And yeah, you know what? It is pretty easy for atheists to say that God is immoral. If God actually existed as the Bible described him, he would be a pretty immoral dude. I mean, we've got infanticide, we've got genocide, we've got murder, we've got rape, we've got slavery. What's moral about those things?
So atheists accuse God of rape, torture, murder, infanticide and so on. But yet, they also hold he's a fictional character. Yet, in North Korea, where rape, torture, murder, infanticide happens in real life, oh well, there's no problem. They're so progressive.
Okay, let me get this straight. So you're saying that when an atheist doesn't believe in God, they're using God's moral standards to decide that there is no God. So does that mean that God's moral standard is to be an atheist?
God is an atheist. There is no higher power above him. He answers to no one, and in fact we will all answer to him on some day. So,